Lamine Yamal at 18, the youngest player at the World Cup, and why Spain built everything around him. On July 13, 2007, Lamine Yamal was born in Esplugues de Llobregat, just outside Barcelona. That same year, Cristiano Ronaldo was 22 and already one of the best players in the Premier League. Lionel Messi was 19 and in his second full season at the Barcelona first team. The 2006 World Cup had just finished. Zinedine Zidane had just retired. Yamal was not even alive for any of that. And in 9 days, he will play in his first World Cup. At 18 years old, Lamine Yamal is the youngest player at the 2026 World Cup. He will turn 19 on July 13th, the day before the semi-final stage begins. And if Spain go deep in this tournament, which is very much the expectation, he could be celebrating his birthday as one of the best players at the biggest event in football. That is the scale of what we are watching here. Not a promising teenager getting some minutes. Not a wild card selection that might pay off. The actual spine of Spain's entire World Cup strategy runs through an 18-year-old kid from the Barcelona Academy. And the most insane part is that this isn't even surprising anymore. Because Yamal has been doing this for 2 years already. The youngest player ever to feature at a European Championship. The youngest goal scorer in the history of the Euros. The player who scored in the semi-final against France at 16 the night before his 17th birthday. And then stood on that stage in Berlin and looked like he had been there 100 times before. He won Euro 2024. He celebrated his 17th birthday the day before the final. Spain beat England 2-1. Lamine Yamal was named Young Player of the tournament. He was 16 years and 362 days old when the tournament ended. None of this is normal. None of this has ever happened before. And the baby photo made it even stranger. Before he was famous, before anyone knew his name, a photo resurfaced on Instagram posted by Yamal's own father. In it, an infant Lamine Yamal is being held by Lionel Messi, photographed together by an AP freelancer at an event years before Yamal could walk. The boy who would become Messi's successor was once cradled in his arms as a baby. Football does not usually write stories this neatly. Now let's talk about what Yamal has actually done at club level this season. Because the Euro 2024 story is well known at this point. What is less discussed is how much he has grown since then. In the 2025-26 La Liga season, Yamal scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in 28 league appearances, finishing as the league's top assist provider. Barcelona won La Liga for the third consecutive season, and Yamal was the main architect of that title. In the Champions League, he added 6 goals and 4 assists in 10 matches before Barcelona were eliminated in the quarterfinals. His La Liga average rating on FotMob across the season was 8.33. He became the youngest player of the 21st century to score a hat-trick in La Liga, doing it against Villarreal on February 28th in a 4-1 win, where he scored a solo goal of such quality that it was immediately compared to the great individual goals in the history of the league. He was 18 years old for all of that. In the previous season, 2024-25, he had 18 goals and 25 assists across all competitions for Barcelona. He won the Copa Trophy as the best under-21 player in the world. He was runner-up for the Ballon d'Or in 2025, only losing out to Ousmane Dembélé in what many felt was a genuinely controversial decision. He was named La Liga Player of the Season, the youngest winner of that award in the competition's history. And yet, for all of those numbers, statistics do not really capture what watching Yamal actually feels like. Because the numbers tell you what he does. They don't tell you how he does it. He plays on the right wing for Barcelona and Spain. He is left-footed, which means he cuts inside, and his left foot is a weapon that current right-backs across the world genuinely do not have an answer to. The cut inside off the right flank, onto his left, is something every winger does. But the speed of execution, the sharpness of the change of direction at full pace, and the weight of the pass or shot at the end of it. At his best, it is physically too quick for defenders to react to. By the time they have shifted their weight to respond, the ball has already gone. But it is not just pace and a strong foot. The football intelligence is the part that is genuinely unusual for his age. He understands angles. He understands when to go and when to wait. He knows when the right back has committed and when he hasn't. There are players who are physically extraordinary and technically gifted, but who make poor decisions in the final third. Yamal, at 18, already makes good decisions. He is not always perfect. He is still a teenager. He still makes mistakes. But the ratio of good decisions to bad decisions for someone his age is something coaches usually spend years trying to develop. Now here is the part of this story that has made the last few weeks genuinely nerve-wracking for Spain fans. On April 22nd, playing for Barcelona against Celta Vigo, Yamal converted a penalty and then immediately went down holding his hamstring. He had been fouled in the build-up to the spot kick, and the contact had done damage. He was ruled out for the rest of Barcelona's season. He missed 6 league matches and the Copa del Rey run-in. And with the World Cup beginning June 11th, the question hanging over Spain's entire tournament preparation was simple and terrifying. Is he going to be fit? Yamal said afterwards he had been praying inside when he felt the injury, knowing the World Cup was close. He was included in Spain's 26-man squad announced on May 25th. De La Fuente said he was confident Yamal would be fit for the opener against Cape Verde on June 15th, but also hinted that his involvement in the first game might be limited, maybe a few minutes, with the intent of having him fully available and decisive in the knockout rounds. As of this week, Spain's camp has confirmed the recovery is progressing well, and De La Fuente has said, "Lamine's recovery is proceeding very well. He will be ready for the World Cup. He's doing good." The injury scare appears to be easing, but there is still enough uncertainty that the exact role he plays in the group stage, starter, substitute, or absent, will only become clear when Spain take the pitch at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. There is also another layer to this injury story that says something about how important Yamal is to this entire Spain project. During the October 2025 qualifying campaign, Yamal was carrying a groin injury that had already caused him to miss matches for Barcelona. Barcelona manager Hansi Flick publicly criticized the Spanish Federation for what he described as failing to take care of young players, essentially accusing the national team's setup of overusing Yamal when he needed rest. De La Fuente responded firmly, saying he did not answer to club managers, that Yamal was in the squad because Spain needed him, and that was the end of the conversation. When a national team manager and one of the best club managers in European football are publicly arguing over whose responsibility a player is, that tells you something. It tells you that this player is so central to 2 different projects simultaneously that both sides feel they cannot function without him at full capacity. That is the situation Yamal is in at 18 years old. Now let's talk about the squad around him, because this Spain squad is genuinely exceptional even before you get to Yamal. De La Fuente has selected 26 players, and not one of them is from Real Madrid. A deliberate and striking choice that reflects both the form of the Barcelona and Premier League-based contingent and the political complexities of Spanish football at any given moment. 8 players from La Liga, champions Barcelona. 7 from the Premier League. Rodri back from injury anchoring the midfield alongside Pedri and Gavi. Martin Zubimendi and Mikel Merino providing options. Nico Williams on the left flank, himself recovering from a hamstring issue but expected to be available. Dani Olmo giving tactical flexibility across the attacking midfield positions. This is the deepest Spain squad since the great generation of 2008 to 2012 that won 2 Euros and a World Cup. That team had Xavi, Iniesta, Villa, Torres, Puyol, Casillas, a generation of players who defined European football for half a decade. This squad is not there yet historically, but the talent pool is comparable. The difference is age. That Spain team was in its late 20s when it peaked. This Spain squad has a right winger who turns 19 during the tournament. Group H is Cape Verde, making their first World Cup appearance, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. De La Fuente's response to the draw was immediate. We have to win, win, and win. Spain are expected to top that group with minimal drama. Cape Verde are historic but not dangerous at this level. Saudi Arabia were extraordinary at 2022, but are a different challenge in a group stage setting. Uruguay under Marcelo Bielsa are the most dangerous of the 3. Federico Valverde, Darwin Núñez, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Manuel Ugarte form a formidable spine. And the group decider against Uruguay on June 27th in Guadalajara could be the match that tests Spain's defensive structure before the knockouts begin. In the knockout rounds is where Yamal's value becomes truly decisive. Spain's concern going into every major tournament in recent years has been the same. Brilliant in possession, technically beautiful, but vulnerable on the counter when the opposition presses high and wins the ball in transition. In 2014, they went out in the group stage. In 2018 and 2022, they went out in the round of 16. That pattern stops when Yamal is involved because his ability to beat defenders and manufacture chances individually removes the reliance on collective passing patterns alone. When the system is disrupted, Yamal can create something from nothing. That is the irreplaceable quality. That is why Spain have built everything around an 18-year-old. Thomas Müller holds the record as the youngest Golden Boot winner in World Cup history, claiming it at 20 years old at South Africa 2010. Analysts have already noted that Yamal, if he plays from the group stage and Spain go deep, is positioned to challenge that record. It requires staying fit, staying focused, and Spain needing him to be decisive game after game. But the precedent from Euro 2024 says he can do exactly that. The kid who was once photographed as a baby in Lionel Messi's arms is about to play his first World Cup. His 19th birthday falls 2 days before the final, and Spain are not planning to waste the moment.